Welcome to Sugar, Spice, and Spirits, where happy hour meets hustle, and the only thing stronger than our cocktails are our opinions. Get ready to laugh, learn, and maybe question a few life choices. Cheers to being a little smarter and a whole lot spicier. So grab your drink, kick back, and let's mix a little business with a whole lot of fun. Because around here, success is always on the menu.
Hi, everybody. I'm Natalie Pilkington here with my cohorts,
Mindy Price, Kelly Williams,
and we are Sugar, Spice, and Spirits. We are here today. She's ready. Mindy's ready to toast. This is our drink of the day. It is a gin and tequila margarita. So we shall see how the sip of the day tastes.
Yum.
Mindy is not as salty as Kelly and I, therefore she does not have salt. Let's see, ladies, what does it taste like?
Oh, that's good. Do you have like a flavored alcohol or
It's the gin. It's the gin.
Oh, it's something different. Like it almost tastes watermelon-y or
It tastes very fruity.
it does.
So my dealer has been pushing me on gin.
You want to clarify what exactly dealer you're talking about? Are we
Yes.
talking cocaine? Are we talking? I'm just kidding.
Never done the blow. I saw it once. Well, that was crack. But other than that, this was
Crack flat. Crack ale.
this was actually the local liquor store. So he's not a big chain. He's a small little liquor store by the house. Absolutely love him. It's family ran and everything. And he just always highlights beverages. So he's been pushing gin. The gin we did at Podcast Movement was from him, and what he told. He wasn't even in that day, and the wife had to call him. I was like, I'm so sorry to bother you on your one day off that you've probably taken this whole year. But he said gin is making a comeback. If you guys didn't know it, gin is in. Definitely.
That's really good. It does have a really
different.
refreshing, sweet taste to it. So
We have been nailing it with the drinks. That's all I'm saying.
if you want to know the true, absolute 100% recipe,
Subscribe, sugarspiceandspirits.com, confirm your email, and we will send that out in our newsletter. So we appreciate you guys being here. We're going to talk some real estate. We are actually in my flip house. You'll hear the flip house reference. You'll see it referenced on Sugar Spice and Spirits TikTok and a few other places. But being in real estate for me, and what was interesting when we went to Podcast Movement to actually promote, learn, talk, everybody's like, oh, you're a real estate podcast. No, we're business, life, and real estate. We're so much more. And when we say real estate, it's not just being a realtor, because that's what everybody goes to. And that's kind of one of my pet peeves. I don't mind helping people with real estate. I love real estate, but I also love watching people grow in their ability and their investing and grow just their wealth through real estate with the tax advantages. So as we talk about real estate and passive income, like real estate has been such a tool. I've seen so many people's families change through investing in real estate, whether they're taking their IRA, whether they're investing just straight cash. Real estate is life-changing. So we're here at my flip. It's on Lockridge. Lockridge in Spring, Texas, right by Spring High School. If you want to drive by, I don't know.
It's really nice. It's really cool, especially seeing the before and afters. We'll have to put some of those in.
But the thing is, with real estate, the podcast movement, everybody thinks that when you're in real estate, there's just you're a realtor, but there's the investment side to it as well. So when we talk real estate, yes, I'm a realtor. Yes, I bring investors. I brought an investor in this neighborhood, a flip property as well for him to flip. I didn't do it because I got enough on my plate right now. But there's so many layers to real estate and so many different things and different ways that you can invest in real estate. Now, this particular property was an elderly person that was moving into senior living, and the family just didn't want to deal with everything that was going on, from cleaning the house out, doing the repairs that need to be done. Like, it had popcorn ceilings, wood paneling in here. It was very, very dated, very good bone-wise, but just not a solid property. I mean, just not up to date, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to get maximum value for a property like that. You really just want to get it out of your hair and move on. And that's what I did. I was able to take care of them, get them taken care of, brought in private money for this property. And I'm actually having so much fun with it. I like to take care of the details, and you'll see it through the house. You see it on the front with the, what is that called? The cedar that's out there. But I also love what real estate does. So the passive income, you've got rental property. You've been an investor in multifamily. I'm invested in multifamily, have single family and a commercial business. real estate is very freeing. So it's so much more than just being a realtor. I do have a joke for you, Mindy.
We actually have a joke. So Natalie and I used to have a radio show, and I would always start out with a joke of the day. I'm not saying they were great, but people did look forward to them. And we haven't brought a joke in a while, probably because the last ones that I did were so terrible. But let's go. Now Natalie is doing the joke.
So why did the real estate investor bring the ladder to the open house?
Why, Natalie?
Because they heard the market was skyrocketing.
But I'm
Well, hopefully interest rates come down and we can actually see some movement in the market. So I think I'll be pricing this just right with the timing of the market. But what's important is just to know the tools and the assets that are out there and the advantages of investing in real estate. Whether you're looking for single family or multifamily, there's so many different ways that you can take advantage, in so many ways that you can make money in real estate. I know you've invested in multifamily. How did that go?
Very well. I learned a lot about single family through my parents having some investments. And then whenever I was lucky enough to work with a gentleman that taught me so much with the group that I got connected with, I learned a lot more. And I learned about how many mistakes we made. And when they said, oh my gosh, you don't want to deal with toilets, tenants, and taxes, I was like, that's exactly what my mom and dad said. And I didn't want any part of it. And being in the real estate industry on the apartment and the multifamily side, it was like, oh, this is the way you want to go. And then being so lucky to get to work for a guy that has had a lot of success, and Natalie can hook you up with him if it's something that you would want to do, passively investing. But those investments turned out well for me. But here's the thing too, Natalie, and you also know this, they don't always go well. And so timing the market right, I have always said that real estate can be an incredible investment. It's something that I love, that like literally we're in here and I've got the itch to go buy a house and flip it. And I'm like, Nat, let me in on your next deal.
I got an off-market deal in Angleton. I can tell you all about.
Okay, well, we need to know about it, because you get excited and we're walking through this property. I'm like, oh my gosh, the thing that I love though personally, as busy as I am running my business and having my career, I love being able to invest passively and figuring out a guy. Typically you'll hear them called a syndicator, that knows what they're doing. And so there's no guarantee your investment is always going to be successful. But when you're investing with somebody that has a proven track record, you can feel better about having what they call that mailbox money, that it's coming in. And again, it's not guaranteed, but there's a lot of different what they call syndicators that are in the market. And you really want to vet the right one, so that you make sure they've been able to navigate through the tough markets, the good markets, the really tough markets, and then where they're at now. I think there's some interesting opportunities. My husband and I are vetting some to see, what does that look like? But I do love real estate. Where I was saying about the thing that I love real estate is it's tangible. I can touch it. I can see it. I can feel it. Whereas with my other types of investments that are just typically paper, I can't. I can't go in and say, here's my portfolio. I'd like to pay for my gas with this. You can't. And so there's a big difference with that. So, I don't do a lot of talking about real estate. That's not the world that I'm in now on the investment side, but it is something that I truly love. And I do have some, I don't want to say quote unquote expertise in, but I have quite a bit of opinions and thoughts and a little bit of background in it, that every now and then I'll shed that. But Natalie's the one that really talks about real estate. She's got a great guy if you're looking for more passive on the big side that she could refer you to. But real estate's been good. I have also lost my in it by investing with the wrong person too. So you want to be really careful with that. There's still some ongoing stuff that's happening right now, and I'm waiting to get paid, and I keep hearing about what happened. And this was something that happened a few years ago during COVID. I should have already been paid on, and I haven't. So while 90% of my stories with real estate are good, it's not 100%, but nothing is 100%. It's kind of like fishing. They wouldn't call it fishing if you were always catching. They'd call it catching. So.
Right. Well, and along those lines, when Natalie alluded to the fact that she has a property in Angleton, yes, I'm an investor, but when I came into it, I didn't come into it with the purpose of being an investor. And we all met. I knew Mindy before, but I was fortunate to meet Natalie at the company that we worked for before, and it was all about real estate investing. And I literally knew nothing. And through the time that I was there, I was surrounded by mentors who taught me the things that I had done right and the things that I had done wrong. And initially, my investment property was done all wrong. But they were gracious enough to educate me and mentor me to where now I've turned it around. And now it is actually making me money. So whether or not you ever plan on going into real estate and investing, if you don't know anything about it, which I did not, do your homework. But like Mindy said, get with someone who has a great track record, who knows what they're doing, whether you want to go in the single family or when you go into the apartment complexes or commercial property, whatever, but get with someone who knows what they're doing. And that's the best place to start, because it is a very lucrative business if you have the right guidance. So, and she's a good place to start. Absolutely.
Apartment communities, by the way, a complex is something that you have, but okay.
Whatever. I don't speak the language.
Multifamily assets. whatever you want to call it. Depends on which hat you're wearing. No, so real estate is fabulous. It's a great investment, but you can lose your butt. I've lost half my portfolio in multifamily, and I've learned a lot on this journey. I had sold my single family, moved into multifamily, so it's not ideal and fun. I've learned a lot about syndicators and operators working for different ones. And I can spot the good ones and spot the bad ones and know what to ask. You know, sometimes you scratch your head, because with the multifamily investment, I'm asking myself, because my mentor told me, he said, like, you don't ever lose money, and you always make sure that you're not on a variable rate, that you do this, and you do that. So I'm like, okay, makes sense. And then all these people were out here buying properties with balloons. And when I say properties, I'm talking multifamily assets, 200 to 500 units. And they're buying these assets with these variable rates with a rate lock for 2 to 3 years. And then at 3 years, we had insurance go up, property taxes go up, and then their payments went up. And if they didn't execute properly their business plan, the CapEx plan, which is how you improve your rents at a property, is if you go in and you fix it up so that a tenant, a resident, would want to pay more. But if you don't fix up the property, you can't push rents, which actually improves your bottom line, because you didn't execute the CapEx. So, there's a lot to learn there on that multifamily side. I love talking about vetting syndicators, the questions to ask. But as always, you need to consult, your accountant, your CPA when you're going through this process. And even some good operators lose every now and then. Like, you can be on point. And the best, like some great operators, an operator we know lost, I think, 2 assets. And it was just, he had a great track record. It was, he was doing fantastic. And then all of a sudden, you're good until you're not when something happens, but he's recouped and recovered and moving back. When I say recovered, the investors that were in that deal did not recover, did not make their money back. But a lot of investors just keep investing, and then they hedge their loss. You get the tax write-offs in the next one, but you learn from each mistake. And there's some great resources and books out there that you can read as well. And I'm going to go ahead and put a plug in, because the operator that I know that was really good, that timed the market properly, got out when the market was crazy, when I'm like, how are banks lending like this? And that was my point on the earlier part, is with the variable rate, why would a bank make a loan on a variable rate asset? Like, the bank surely wouldn't give you money if it wasn't a good deal.
Wrong.
They do. They give you money. They give people money that don't need it. And that's what happened. A lot of people got caught with their pants down in this market shift with everything. And it was a 1, 2, 3 punch. And it doesn't matter for some of them how good of an operator you are. So that's one thing to be aware of. But also, when you're looking and interviewing syndicators, there's just a lot of different things to look at. So, but with that being said, I know it's kind of negative on real estate on that multifamily side. There's still a lot of great operators that didn't lose, that are operating well, that are providing the returns, that are passing on the cost segregation study. You can almost get back what you invested with the right operator. And if they're sharing the tax savings with you, and that's the cost segregation study, you want to know what the depreciation is that they're going to share with you. Now, you do have to recapture that on the back end. I'm probably talking over people's heads, so I'll dial it back. But you could almost get back your full 100,000, which is phenomenal for the IRS and the tax code, if you know what you're doing. That's why, too, a lot of people won't even invest their IRA money so that they can take advantage of the tax savings and invest 50, 100,000.
Well, and I'm not to interrupt you, but on that note, I didn't know this, and I'm sure a majority of people out there don't know this. And this is why you find a mentor. You can use your IRA for investment purposes. A lot of people don't know that. And that's why it's important, if you do want to get into investing and you think, well, I don't have any money or anything like that, guess what? There are tons of ways around that. You just have to find the right resource to educate you on that, because we have a very good friend of ours who has several properties at this point, and he is doing very, very well. You hear his voice at the very beginning of our podcast. He started with zero money.
Yeah.
And he's done quite well. So it's possible. You just have to find the right people to put in your corner and to educate you and let you know that things are possible. So I apologize for interrupting. But.
Well, and I'll say this too. So some people not knowing that you can invest, but you need to figure out, can you, and do it the right way and make sure your plan's set up the right way. I actually invested in the deal that I was saying that I've not gotten paid on and they owe me a lot of money.
Yeah.
I did it through my IRA money. And so it's not anything that I had access to really. So it doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts on my balance sheet that it's not there. And then the fees that I'm paying in that particular account for them to keep it up for me, and not knowing if it's ever, I'm like, let me just have it as a write-off. Like there was a year that I needed that write-off and I still haven't got it. And there's that hope. And I think it's a pipe dream at this point.
So even with, let me ask you this. So even with that money that you've now lost, you invested.
I want to say I lost it, but we'll see.
But yes, it was a learning session.
Delayed for a long time return. How much were you able to write off in taxes?
No, I haven't been able to yet.
They didn't share the depreciation?
Not on that particular piece, not yet. We will not talk about this because there is some things that are happening. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, so in the beginning though, like through standard deduction, you didn't get to write off any of that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some other things going on with this.
And
it's not that good person that we were talking about too.
No.
Yeah,
Definitely someone else. But the point is, so in that you could still lose money and have such a great write-off that you didn't lose money.
Yeah.
I mean, you still
crazy?
lose it, but you're not getting that return. Real estate's very forgiving. You just have to be aware of the market, where market shifts
And
are.
we're not CPAs. We don't claim to be one, just like we're not doctors, all those things. Like our disclaimer at the end says, we make no, and then he laughs.
No claims.
Yeah.
But no, so real estate's just a great tool. Rich Dad, Poor Dad's a great book.
It is.
Think and Grow Rich, Richest Man in Babylon. And then Millionaire Next Door was a topic that I wanted to cover, which is about the millionaire next door. You never know, like not keeping up with the Joneses, but they're driving a Ford truck. They're minding their P's, minding their Q's, and they're filling their retirement accounts, filling the IRA and getting, where they're setting things up and taking care of themselves in that sense. So that's what's important as far as like some good books out there to read to get started. Get into a meetup. So I do a meetup in Houston. There's a lot of great meetups in your local community that you can go to. And if you go into it and it's kind of slimy, they're not adding value, not teaching, not giving class and information, turn around and walk out.
Right.
Yeah. There are some people that go to these meetups and they're there for the free meal, the free drink, the free whatever, and they're not adding a lot of value. Good for them, whatever they're doing. But if there's not the value, like Natalie said, then find different ones, because there are some great ones that are out there. Like I know the one that you're doing, it's grown so much, and you're
I think in 4 months I'm over 100 people and 5-star rating and everything. Which
you're even bringing one down to Brazoria County.
I'm bringing one down to Brazoria, and I'm going to do one in College Station too. So just spreading out, because
I'll go with you to College Station.
I bet you will.
We can talk about the DISAP in College Station.
What about Austin?
Well, we can go there. I would go there and still talk about the DISAP.
But and guys, even though I've worked with these ladies before, and I got to do the investing side with them, a lot of what they still say is still over my head. The very first time that I got invited on their radio show, we talked about all the different acronyms that we share. Of course, me from a medical background, and Mindy and them from real estate. It was a pretty funny show, because some of the things they threw out there was totally different.
I don't even
ARM. She wasn't there, so it was just Kelly. Because I was like, Natalie, my partner in crime, was not there, and I was like, Kelly, let's just do acronyms. So I was like, when you think of ARM, adjustable rate mortgage is what I'm thinking. I was like, what do you think of? She goes, your arm.
ARM. That's what it spells.
Yeah. So, but there's so many fun things, and I think what's important is if you can't hear her energy and her passion about real estate and investing, I think when you walk into one of those meetups and they're up there and they're just very monotone and they're just talking, I mean, they're just educating. I think education is important, but when you get someone who is walking the walk, talking the talk, and has actual places to show you and examples, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge, because you can have a teacher that is up in front of you and who knows so much, but they're a horrible teacher. But then you've got someone up there who just feels it and loves it and wants to share it. There's enough to go around.
We've done a couple of road trips. We came to this one. We went to my firehouse. We went to another investor. He's like, hey, I want to show my house. And I've got another investor that's going to want to show their house. it's that very natural give back. I am going to be posting on my school, so I'll keep you posted on that.
School, SKOOL.
School. Yeah. So I'll be posting those on my school, just adding value because I believe so much in real estate and think that it's such a beautiful thing. I truly have seen so many people's life change through real estate. I've seen them change through wealth as well.
Yeah.
But I've seen the good that's come from it too. So when you're able to build wealth, whether it's through your entrepreneurship, your business, through real estate, what you can do and give back to the community, how you can support your church, your charity, dogs, whatever it is, there's so many good things that can come from that, like the VA, like just having the resources to be able to do what it is. So the other day I was, and I don't say this to toot my horn, but I was at a Shell gas station and we did a family lottery pool. We don't gamble that often. We don't like to gamble, but it was
1.5 billion.
Gamble. So I think the family, we had like $300 and something worth of tickets, and then we won $8 on that one. So I was like, okay, fam, we're going to go ahead and just put it into the next biggest pot, which was the next biggest pot, 300 and something million. So I was like, I went in and bought, and the poor guy was like, he belched at the counter, and I was like, oh, are you okay? And he's like, oh, my stomach. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I said something. I was like, oh yeah, we went and ate at our restaurant and we forgot to pay when we left because the new waiter took so long to get back to us, and the table was cleared. I went to go to the bathroom. And then when I walked back, he's like, let's go. I was like, okay. So we left. The waiter comes out and knocks on the door. He's like, and we're like, oh, snap, And I told him that. I told the, Shell guy, I was like, oh yeah, we just dined and dashed by accident.
But you did pay.
Yeah, we paid.
Okay.
We paid. That's my restaurant. I don't dine and dash, but I got to go back. I got to show my face.
You're that person.
Oh, they're a company. They'll make it up. No. I felt so bad. And I'm sure the host told him, like, oh, they didn't mean to. I hope she said that. Now I'm going to wonder about that.
You're going to go back and go, hey, I'm tipping you extra this time. I'm sure you tipped extra anyway. But
the Shell guy was sitting there. He was like, he's like, I wish I could do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? And he goes, I just haven't eaten since yesterday or something. And I'm like, and I remember working. I was in high school. I had my apartment in the med center, like my garage apartment over, a garage. I worked 3 jobs. I've been there where, what I ate was 2 pesos. Remember 2 pesos? We had 2 pesos. Taco Cabana were the competitors. And I would go and get a wrap of tortillas, like 3 tortillas, and I would eat that with the salsa. And so I know what that's like. So I told him, I was like, dude, what do you want from McDonald's? Like, I'll go over to McDonald's and I got him nuggets. It's just like being able to do something small like that, or carrying cash. So when somebody comes up and it's placed on your heart, you can give them cash. Like being able to do that freely is what real estate gives you. So I think that's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about real estate. And when I left my last employer, like I talked to quite a few people and interviewed with people, and they were like, well, what are you passionate about? What do you want to do? And different opportunities came to me and different things. And I'm like, I love helping people, but I love real estate. I love what it does to people. And you've been learning through your property that you bought, and your investment. Even if you buy it wrong, or even if you do certain things, there's ways that you can recoup. If the market shifts and it drops down, you hold that property long enough, you'll get your tax write-offs. You hold the property long enough, you'll get that appreciation in a couple of years. And we don't buy in Texas for appreciation. Other markets will.
But we do appreciate the appreciation that we get.
So anyway, real estate's fabulous. Get a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, read it. If you have questions, you can email me directly, nataliepilkington@gmail.com. And I'd be happy to talk to you. It's just one of those things. If you have questions about a syndicator in your area, or if you want a good syndicator or a good investment to take a look at, I'm not saying it's 100%, nothing is 100%. But if you want ideas and thoughts or want to bounce anything off, like I love my investment community. Houston has a really strong community. Lots of people work together, and it's really tight knit. So if you mess somebody over, everybody's going to know.
Yeah.
But with that being said, real estate is very freeing. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, if you're in a dead end job, you've got things going and you're like, how am I ever going to get out of here? There are ways that you can get out, and that's plugging in. One of my buddies, he works for a major chemical plant down in Baytown. And I saw him walk by, and I was doing the radio show one time, and it was at the office, and I was hosting one of the AM shows This was before you and I met. And I was like, hey, come on in and get on the radio. I'm live. And he's like, no.
No,
He's like, I don't want no one to know. He's like, no one's going to know what I own. And he has one brother in another country. And he's like, nobody knows how much real estate he owns. And he actually went home and I house sat for him. So when the tenants called with something, I would take care of them. And nobody called till like the day before he got home. Thank goodness, because it was an AC issue. So,
I know a good AC guy, by the way.
AC guys, they are precious. So are plumbers and so are electricians. So if your kids need something to do, something to go into, they are not lying when they say the trades are where you can really make some great money.
Oh my gosh. You know what? We're going to go on a tangent. So let's do this real quick.
Yeah.
The fact that so many people think that college. And, you know, we have a mixed variety in our house, but you think about how much the trades can make. Oh my gosh. It is absolutely insane.
You think about
cheers to the trades because
we live on the coast, Dow Chemical. And a lot of those guys that work out there walk out there the day after high school and they're out there. And if it weren't for some of those men and women out there that run the operators that run Dow Chemical and BASF and Freeport LNG on a daily basis, half this country in the world would not survive.
Oh my
and
gosh.
And a lot of them do not have college degrees. And they are the worker bees. And, you know, kudos to those guys.
Millionaires too. Yeah. And I don't know if this is still the same, but, you know, my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, one of the most amazing women ever, was a stockbroker.
Today was her birthday. Is her birthday?
Yes.
Happy heavenly birthday.
Yes.
Yes.
She was like the millionaire per capita in this little town of Clute. It will totally surprise you. So you talk about those, you don't know those millionaires. And then those that do get it and they do invest in real estate or they've invested in other ways. And there's so much money to be made in a lot of different ways, whether you're going through real estate or your
precious commodities.
Yes.
You can go through oil. You can go through, there's a lot of different ways. Even you can self-direct your IRA into bull semen.
Okay, so
we digress. Let's talk offline.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if I get paid,
it's a stud person, like a stud animal that can go off. And like if you're breeding heifers and you're like, you just never know what you can invest.
Yeah,
in.
you have no, and all it is just sometimes it's opportunity that knocks and you don't realize that it's knocking. But you know, case in point, one of my very good friends, David, worked out at one of the plants for years and he was making good money and had saved up a lot of money, but finally decided he was tired of the shift work, the 4 days on, 4 days off, nights, days, midnights, whatever it is, the graveyards, whatever. And he actually many, many years ago ran into the gentleman that we were speaking about earlier. And he basically gave him the whole educated spiel about this is how you invest. This is how you can become independently wealthy and financially on your own. And 12, 13 years later, David lives, I mean, within his means, but he has a lot of super, super nice things. He travels when he wants to. He has his own schedule. And all he did was find someone who educated him, someone who had a great track record and who was passionate and cared about it. And it's just one of those things where he took it and ran with it and decided, I want better for myself and let real estate absolutely change his life for the better. And yeah, I mean, it's huge, but it is finding.
It's impactful when you see that because average people doing average things with real estate, making it happen. Yeah. Not a knock at David, but I'm just saying anybody can pretty much go out and do this. It's really hard to mess it up if you don't follow instructions.
And I'm sure, and I don't.
To David. It's a compliment to somebody who decided to take that chance, invest in themselves, and do something different.
Yes.
And now he's independently wealthy.
Yes.
And the life that he lives, and he still remembers that.
He lived the life that he wants. Yes. Yes. He lives the life that he wants.
And if you lose your job, like if you are employed, so plug in those passive streams of income. If you don't have a way out, you don't have an entrepreneur bone in your body, you're an engineer, an accountant, whatever. Plug in passive streams of income, whether it's through like a loan program, being a private lender, which I'm working with on this house here, whether it's real estate, single family, investing in multifamily, whatever it is, start chunking in those passive streams of income and all of a sudden you'll be buying your life back. Mm-hmm. And it's truly life-changing. But there was one other point, talking about acronyms and everything. Like I've been working more on the higher level multifamily stuff and then getting back into the single family. Like this is fun. This is like gravy for me.
It's fun.
But getting back into it, And talking to these people at like the meetup, when they start talking burr and they're talking like hoteling and I'm like, you mean wholesaling? What is wholesaling? And then like, what is burr? You mean like renting? Like, what is that? A rental? Like build, flip, rental? It's like rehab, rental. And I'm like, yeah, you go in, you fix the property up and you rent it. Like, but they have all these little acronyms that are so cute for real estate. But I guess I'm dating myself because these youngsters come in and I'm like, oh, slow down, cowboy. So, but it's a lot of fun in other words. So I just want to say, you guys, thanks for listening. If you guys have a thought, if you have anything you want to contribute, want a topic that we should talk about, email us, sugarspiceandspirits.com. You can
Spill the tea.
Spill the tea if you got some. Oh my gosh, my daughter came to me. She goes, and I'll wrap up after this. I'm still wrapping up. But anyway, she goes, Mom, we all should do a show like that. Everybody spills their secrets to you and you do a show on secrets. And I was like, that would go in the spill the tea. I don't know, but
We'll see if people ask for that.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So spill the tea if you have a show idea, if there's anything you want us to cover, if you like something we're doing, just share with your friends, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Follow us, watch all the way through. We just appreciate you being here. We hope we're adding value to your life. We're having fun doing this, and we just appreciate you going on the journey. Thanks, guys.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Sugar, Spice, and Spirits is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are solely those of the host and guests and do not represent those of any affiliated organizations. The content provided is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, whether legal, financial, medical, or otherwise. Always seek the advice of qualified professionals regarding any questions that you may have. While we aim to keep information accurate and up to date, we make no guarantees of completeness, reliability, or accuracy. Any action you take based on the information presented is strictly at your own risk. Cheers to mixing a little fun and some friendly advice. But remember, sip responsibly and always do your own homework.